But thank you for doing that as well. And if you're in the chat, as always, chat away, ask questions, have some fun. Balls Big Wednesday, another day closer to the start of college football, another day closer to yours truly and my cohort, Mr. Lang, here going to Ireland along with the rest of the staff and thousands of other Noles making the trek across the pond to watch Florida State, Georgia Tech. Can't get here soon enough, man. Ready to roll. By the way, in that chat, of course, it is sponsored by our friends at Heisen Legal Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Heisen Legal Law Firm. That number, 813-803-0733 for free consultation. There's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Heisen Legal Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. That number, 813-803-0733. You can also visit the website, HeisenLegalLawFirm.com. Heisen Legal Law Firm, your advocate in times of need. Office is Tampa. You know, one of the things that's happening now in camp, we are at that stage where I think they've pretty much solidified the starting 22. There are a couple position battles still kind of playing out right now where, you know, as Tom and I talked about on Monday, it's an or situation, maybe based on matchup. I don't know. Some guys still kind of tussling for those backup reps as well. You know, obviously how many snaps one gets is fought for in these camps as well, even if you're not a starter. So that's still happening. But install is underway. And now you're watching, and there's a lot of stuff I cannot talk about or we would get in big trouble because it's Florida State and Mike Norvell's offense running against Georgia Tech's defense, the scout team, right? So you start to see what Georgia Tech does and how Mike and this offensive staff are going to attack it and which players they're going to utilize and how they look to poke holes in some of the weaknesses of Georgia Tech. And we can't really talk about those plays, right? Because those are the plays they're going to be running. But you're watching our guys, our offense, our starters go through that. You're seeing the finer points and the details that are in place there, as well as special teams. You know, last 2 days, big on special teams. And it's not just the standard special team stuff that they do where they teach you technique for blocking and all that other stuff. It is also now full kickoffs, full kickoff return, everybody out there as they would be in a game type situation. They don't always do that at practice when they're practicing kickoffs. The other part of that is now you're seeing the defense. You're starting to see that starting defense, what we think is going to be the starting defense, got a pretty good handle on who that's going to be right now. In fact, I think I could name the starting 11 without question on defense right now. And what that's going to look like against Georgia Tech's offense. We see the scout team, Georgia Tech offense. We saw a lot of that and what this defense, the kind of looks that they're going to give. You know, it's interesting to watch too, Tom. They do a good job. They've done this before, but I really noticed it more yesterday, and that is they try to distract defensive players with eye candy. They'll snap two balls. They'll do things to try to get you to look another way. They have a Nerf that they snap at the same time that they have the actual football they're playing with. And it's just, again, to train guys' eyes, in particular at linebacker, to the kind of motion stuff that Georgia Tech likes to do and the quarterback keeps, because Haynes King will run. He will run a lot. And it's a big part of why Georgia Tech had success on the ground last year. Sure, they had a 1,000-plus yard rusher, a young man that I enjoyed interviewing up in Charlotte, and he's back, and he's a good player. He's a little guy. He's hard to find behind the line of scrimmage. He's maybe 5'8", and he's a little guy. He's compact. He's put together. He's all those things, but you can't find him. You know, we have a couple of those guys too, and you can watch linebackers kind of get – so they're trying to really ingrain that into these guys now, and all of that gets me pumped because now you're watching game planning. Now you're watching – it's go time. You know, now I've seen what I've needed to see physically from a lot of guys. Now let's see where you're at from a game plan standpoint.
Yeah, and then early next week when they release the depth chart, you know, you can say that you have a very good feeling about where they're going to go in certain positions where we thought maybe they'd be down the middle on a couple of players. But I still want to see that second line. I'd still want to see how they define, you know, what's acceptable from their veterans versus what potential the young players have. And I think the second line of that depth chart is going to tell you where their head's at between we've done all we can with this player versus I think he's on the brink of having a breakthrough. So that's what's left here is because the coaching staff was remarkably honest last year with depth chart. Not all coaching staffs are. Some of them don't even give you depth charts. But when they listed Jerrion Jones at nickel, when they listed, I'm trying to think on offense, I think there was a receiver that we were surprised by as well. Maybe it was an offensive lineman, but there were 2 or 3 positions where we said, that's not really how it looked in camp. Interesting. And then as the season played out, as those first few games played out, no, in fact, the coaching staff, what they put on that depth chart before game 1 was the way they rolled it out there. So this year, with so many positions that have depth, some of them that have question marks with veterans versus budding maybe stars that are younger, receiver is that place. How do they define who their primary backups are? How do they define the oars in their lineup? And that's going to give you a window into the things that we can talk about, which is these are the guys they trust. Can't talk about the schematics of how they're going to attack Georgia Tech.
Correct.
But we can talk about the guys that they do trust. And then from there, it almost opens a window for us to discuss, especially you, since you've been to more of these practices, but what this player's journey was like in camp. Now that he's a co-starter, now that he's on the 2 deep as a primary backup, and you know that he's going to see the field, it's almost like, okay, green light. Here's how camp looked for this young man, and here's how he arrived at the position where he's going to be getting a lot of snaps on Saturday against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and I'm eager for that to happen, Tom, because I want to have those discussions. We have watched some guys come a long way and are now being depended upon greatly to take this team and sustain. I don't want to say get back because they went undefeated last year, but sustain the reigning ACC championship and renew it. Back it up with a consecutive Title I to get back to Charlotte and ensure with a conference title our place in the 12-team playoff. That's really the goal here. I'll live with a blemish on the record. I don't expect year in and year out to go undefeated. It's an unreasonable expectation, especially when you lose as much as Florida State did lose in terms of starts, right, in reps. And, you look at the yardage alone at wide receiver / tight end. You lose 2 of the most impactful players on your entire offense and another guy that was productive before getting hurt. That's a kind of age-old conversation that we've had about the theme of last season was guys getting hurt on one side of the ball and Florida State having the toughness and fortitude and coaching to get past all of that and remain undefeated, only to have it not rewarded, as we well know. But now it's a new season. It's a new campaign, and you think, what is reasonable to suggest now? I'll tell you what, this is the week – and we're week 0, so it's a little bit different this time around than it would be in a normal campaign. But this is where I start really kind of getting into my bets and getting into season-long bets and totals and things of that ilk. This is not a betting segment, but when you do that, and you know this, when you try to find, good value, when you start looking at odds, receiving yards, passing yards, touchdowns, offensive statistics, defensive stats, wins, losses, you really start delving into some numbers because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to find out returning talent, percentage of snaps, all these things. Anywhere you can get an advantage where maybe Vegas has it wrong. Well, when you do that, you start to kind of unveil a bit of a picture of what a team was a year ago and what they have to make up for that's lost from that team, but also what they could be this year because of some other elements that didn't exist on last year's team. And that's a fun process. It's a really fun process, but just cursory glance, surface level stuff in looking at odds. You've seen it. It's been released in the last 10 days. More of these are coming out. But Bet Online, for example, I was looking online late last night and I was just looking at numbers. They have the ACC passing yards leader, and you can go through and you get odds on that. Cam Ward's 2-1, for example, to be the passing yards leader.
That would make sense.
Then it's Haynes King. Then it's Cade Klubnik.
Okay.
Then it's Grayson McCall. Then it's Preston Stone. And now you get down to DJ, who is 12-1. 12-1. So not bad odds if you want to throw DJ into the mix here. It's also interesting to look at, I think, just in terms of, values. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Louisville is 14-1. The Tyler Schell kid, he's 14-1. They throw the ball a lot.
Yeah. Can I talk about Haynes King for just a minute?
At number 2 at 7-1.
Come on, man. No, that's if you look at his numbers last year, and you look at games that say might feature a defense that had a pulse. his passing numbers. I'm not talking about the total effect of what the quarterback has on a game.
Sure.
I'm here for that discussion.
Yeah, that's a different discussion.
737 rushing yards last year.
Yeah.
And that's with sacks taking yardage away.
Right.
So that's a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah.
The total player effect is real. But I'm looking at Clemson, 13 to 31 for $129. Virginia, no great shakes, 30 attempts, 208 yards. They played Georgia, and they played them tough. Remember, they came back to make it. Actually, Georgia's going in to score and go up 38-16 in the fourth quarter, and they throw an interception into the Georgia Tech end zone. But the game does get close. It gets within 8 points. 20 pass attempts for 158 yards. When they played Miami, no great shakes last year, Miami. And that's a get we all remember.
Yes, we do.
151 yards on 25 attempts. About 40 of those came after Mario didn't put a knee into the ground. Like, he did rack up some yards in some against some opponents that we would call lesser. 287 against North Carolina. That's not a surprise. 348 against Bowling Green. That really helps with that 2,800 yard total. 300 yards against Ole Miss, and we never believe in Ole Miss.
Well, not defensively.
These are the performances, but down the stretch for him, his last 3 games of the regular season, 129 yards passing against Clemson, 138 against Syracuse, 158 against Georgia.
Yeah, no, I'm not betting on him.
Let's pump the brakes on this kid throwing for a ton of yards through the air. The effect on the game, I hear you, but as a pair, let's pump it a little bit.
DJ's a better bet there. Preston Stone's a better bet there at SMU, by the way. Much better bet. That's a really good offensive mind. And Lashley, we know what SMU's offense is capable of. Don't overlook Grayson McCall at NC State. We remember him at Coastal Carolina. He's played a ton of football. Was the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. Threw for that year anyhow close to 2,500 yards and 26 touchdowns, and ran for another 7 or 8 or something like. I remember looking at those numbers just when he transferred over. He's had good seasons for Coastal, and NC State's offense. By the way, NC State. When we talk about the teams that could win the ACC, or a better conversation, the teams that could play in Charlotte for the right to make the college football playoff, it's a much deeper discussion than we've had in previous years. It's Florida State, it's Clemson, it's Miami, NC State, Louisville, Va Tech are all teams that people could mention. You've got, like you said, an outside chance of an SMU team because of how easy the schedule is.
Yes.
Toughest game is at home against us. But, there are a lot of teams to throw into the mix while you're talking about who could get there. Who could get there? I'm not saying win it, but who could get there? A lot of them. 7?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
7.
There's probably a dozen key games that will eliminate a team or elevate one that you thought in the preseason. How about the public? Because you look at the top 25 rankings of who is representing the ACC, and it's the same 4 teams that you're seeing. It's us, Miami, Clemson, and NC State makes it on the fringe.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's really talking about SMU. Nobody's talking about Louisville, Virginia Tech, not as much. But all of those teams that I mentioned can certainly be when we're in, let's say, the 9th of November, and we've got the trip to Notre Dame, and we're not playing in conference that weekend. I think where our eyes are going to be on Virginia Tech or SMU or Louisville or NC State saying, can they lose another game? This is getting a little bit uncomfortable here.
It's fun, though, right? I think it's a cool conversation to have. I think now we're getting into it. I was also, by the way, that led me down a path. I went from what was going to be my bet for ACC passing yards leader, and I kind of wrestled back and forth. And just in terms of odds, I ended up on Preston Stone.
Yep.
Well, it makes more sense. I mean, you get him at 10-1 in SMU's offense. It just makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, that's a good value. So I went there.
Yes, I don't think they're going to be choking the life out of the football in the fourth quarter very often. They're going to have to score to win. Whereas Georgia Tech, because of the way they play, they might have fewer possessions in a couple of those wins. So it doesn't lend itself to the extra 40 to 50 yards in the fourth quarter, late in the last 5 minutes. Those things add up over the course of the year.
What it did was I went from there. I said, okay, well, if these are the passing yards leaders, let's go over here to receivers. And this, once again, sparked the conversation of camp, which was can you find a Florida State receiver on the list?
Oh, man.
Well, you know what? Do you realize you can get Malik Benson? Again, we're just talking about value.
Yeah.
What do you think you can get Malik Benson at? Or did you already see this?
I did not see it, but I'll guess 20-1.
50-1.
50? Okay.
50-1 odds that Malik Benson leads the ACC in receiving.
Look, we might have the greatest secondary in the last 5 years of college football on the other side. And it's obscuring the numbers. It's obscuring what maybe Malik is really, really good, and that Alabama offense was extremely limited with a bunch of good receivers. And maybe our defense is really, really good.
I think so.
If that's the case, it's worth a 50-1 stab at it that Malik could average $125 a game because he has 200, 2 or 3 times this season. Could work. At 50-1.
50-1. I mean, Tom.
Put $5 down.
Well, here's what bothered me. And this is, again, you talk about
put frozen pizza money on it. Not even pizza money.
Here's the point. This is why this conversation has been so consistent. It's not that those guys can't play or that there's not going to be somebody that emerges. It's what you lost, in terms of NFL receiver talent that's in the league now. And then, you do wonder aloud. And this is why it's going to be an important year for Hakeem Williams, because he's the 5-star that you brought in who looks like the kind of guy that Florida State should be bringing in. Let's put it that way. That's what you should be able to look around at our receiving. It's Florida State. You ought to be able to look over to that receiving core and be like, yeah, they got 3 or 4 dudes that are really good. Like, if you're recruiting the way you're supposed to recruit, that's how it's supposed to look. Okay.
Even though we only landed like 3 of those type players in the last 20 odd years, but yes.
Well, I'm not talking about
from the way they look.
Yeah. The way they look. Right. I'm talking about production and the like. Yeah. And it's interesting. I shouldn't see, and I'm going to do this just because, again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean this is going to happen. But next year at this time, Tom, I just want to really quickly, we're excited about this year. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Next year at this time, when I've got my show prep in front of me and I'm going through, and it's a week before the season starts or 10 days out, and I'm talking about who's going to lead the ACC in passing and what are the odds, and then I talk about the receivers on the other end. Same thing. It's a bet online thing. I'm just looking there. I ought not be able to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I shouldn't be able to name 23 other wide receivers that have much better odds than Malik Benson does to win that bet as the ACC's leading receiver. That's crazy.
Missed opportunity. I should have done the yodeling. Yodeling.
It would have been great. Would have been great.
We would have kept going.
The intention was good. 23? I mean, you got, Tom, there's multiple SMU guys. There's a Cal guy in here. There's a couple of Duke guys. Of course, this kid from Stanford who's a beast who destroyed Colorado.
How did he not hit the portal?
Why isn't he here?
Yes,
why isn't he right here? Well, Stanford, he probably wants that Stanford education, but damn it, man.
Well, I'm sure they'll let him back.
I mean,
especially after the NIL money that he would make on the open market. Damn it, man.
That's just we shouldn't be able to have this conversation this time next year, because here's the thing. We may not have to. We've got 2 really exciting young true freshman receivers that we are pumped about, that through the course of this season may end up proving that they're going to be a big-time player for us for years to come. Well, maybe more than 2, but 2 that have shown so far in camp. You got another one that's a sophomore in Hakeem, so we'll see what this year holds for him. So you have, in truth, about 4 guys, because there's another guy that I like a lot who hasn't got as much run in camp yet as the other guys, but I think is talented. I think they've got 4 guys they can get excited about, and they won't have a list like this next year.
Yeah, and
but
you'll also next year have a red shirt Destin Hill. Because that's how many years it's been. He'll be 29 years old, redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, and that's
outstanding.
And that really, really stinks. That has impacted this unit greatly. His segment group. You like me say it better than that? Yeah, better than.
It's gonna have Tony Parker's hairline.
It has been a toughie. I mean, that's a guy too that. Damn it, man! It's all right though. I mean, I'm not telling you they're going to be bad. I'm just telling you that nobody thinks much of them. Not the betting world.
Yeah, the sharps don't.
The sharps don't think anything of it. Or they just don't know. They just don't, and it's fair not to know. Like, what? How could you, if you're setting odds, why would you have odds on Jaylen Brown? Why would you have odds on a lot of these guys? You wouldn't.
No, and it sounds like the sharps agree with us and our assessment. So, and they don't rely on practice reports from Warchant.com,
right.
even though they should. Even though they really should take those into the considerations when they do future bets and power ratings. They ask around. And they ask people who will divulge information to them, do the sharps, about what to expect, what philosophically we're going to be doing or any team is going to be doing offensively. And they seem to believe, based upon those odds, that we want to run the football. So it's not just us telling you that. The sharps and the futures on receiving totals tell you that it seems like Florida State wants to run the football a lot this year.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that, buddy. I'm a big fan of dominating on the ground. I'm fine with it. I know it's not the most efficient way in big-time modern football to score points and to move the football, but if you can be that team that does, see Michigan, you can be very, very effective. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Investors, are you looking for a creative way to purchase your next rental property? Are you looking to get into the Airbnb space? If so, you need to know about DSCR loans. It stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. These are loans that do not require traditional income verification. As long as the proposed rent covers the mortgage payment on the subject property, that's the only income you need. If you're looking at investing and don't know if you can qualify, let's set up a plan to get your next income-producing property and start putting you on a path to passive income. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. And don't forget, every fellow Knoll that we close a loan for, I will personally make a donation of $250 to the Battle's End. It's Shannon Young at 954-369-6171.
Equal house even. NMLS number
222-7722. ACN Electric is what we do. Persistent all the way.
Is your air conditioner operating at maximum efficiency? Is it tuned up and inspected to help prevent a summer breakdown? Now that we're in the middle of the Tallahassee heat, it's important that your answer is yes to both of those questions because you need the system running smoothly to help keep power bills down, and you definitely don't want a breakdown with a 105-degree heat index. Contact Parker Services today and learn about their Peak Performance membership. It's a low-cost way to keep your AC tuned and catch potential problems before they happen. And there are many other benefits, including priority service and a 15% discount on repairs. Call Parker Services today, and you'll enjoy peace of mind within a few days. CMC 050334 and EC 1301240.
Re-elect City Commissioner Curtis Richardson. Commissioner Curtis Richardson is dedicated to making our city better, and that means addressing the most important matters head on. Commissioner Richardson supports effective public safety, increased affordable housing, greater job creation, and preserving Tallahassee's natural landscapes. Commissioner Richardson is good for Tallahassee. On August 20th, let's re-elect Commissioner Curtis Richardson.
Made by Curtis Richardson, nonpartisan for Tallahassee City Commission, Seat 2.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day, take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Jeff Cameron Show rolling on a Ballsmick Wednesday. Guys asking questions during the break in the chat got me going down the rabbit hole. Golly, conference future for Wake Forest is plus 25,000. That's got to be tough to wake up and see that, right?
Goodness.
Justin asked the question, where are y'all going to be in Dublin going solo and need to find the Knowles? Well, Tom, if you would, throw that graphic up for everybody. There's my boy, Raffy, $4.99. Appreciate you, baby. Guys doing, you guys dong 6? That would be doing 6 on Wednesday and Friday in Dublin.
Not quite baseball season.
We will be there 6 to 9 Irish time Friday, August the 23rd at the Old Storehouse. Just after the show concludes, we'll just have a get-together and hang out for the Warchant meet and greet. I'm doing shows from the Old Storehouse with Tom Lang here, and we are going to do that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No.
That's Leopardstown Racecourse.
You're damn right it is.
Yeah. And
Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
That's correct. Old Storehouse will be your spot. That is in the Temple Bar district of Dublin.
Yeah. Tuesday, live show, 6 o'clock Dublin time, 1 o'clock here. We'll be live on the air. If you're staying back here in Tally, you'll be able to listen to those shows, broadcasting live right there in the city center of Dublin. How much fun is that going to be? So much fun that last night before I went to bed, I was on my iPad doing a tour. I was doing a tour of the Old Storehouse, Tom. I was walking down the hall, then I was looking in the bathroom, then I was turning around.
It's a large complex.
Yeah.
You can see how they get up to 1,500 people for capacity. We're supposed to be, weather permitting, as long as there's not too much more than an Irish mist in the sky, outside in the beer garden for our shows. Tuesday, Wednesday, they're going to be laid back. Those are going to be fun shows. Come on by.
Oh, yeah.
They've got good food there, I'm told. Obviously, I haven't tried it just yet, but I will at the Old Storehouse. Some pubs are just about pubs. This pub will sling you some food as well. And then Friday will be the much more pomp and circumstance. Everybody's here. Let's get ready for kickoff on Saturday event. And we'll give you more information about Leopardstown as that becomes available. But I had a good conversation with the folks from the race course today. So looking forward to all of the action. Every day we got something for you from Tuesday through Saturday.
You know, we talked some yesterday, and it kind of pairs with an article that I read in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. That would be Atlanta Journal-Constitution, not whatever word I tried to say. Anyhow, Tom, that we talked about explosiveness of this offense. And you know what was strange was last year, seemingly most of the explosive plays, like the big 80-yard, 70-yard type plays, those were all Trey Benson runs. Those were Trey Benson breaks a tackle, makes a guy miss, peace, because somebody that big should not be able to run that fast. And tons of defenders took bad angles thinking that a guy that big could not run that fast. And he did, and he ran past people, and it changed the scoreboard. You'd see these moments where, like, nothing. Oh, get the – oh, he's gone. Yes! You know, and that's how we kind of lived and died in the run game. Not a consistent push, just a big play waiting to happen. Give it to him enough times. He's a special player. He's going to be playing in the league for a reason, and then it would happen, right? In the first 4 to 6 games, when you had a healthy receiving core, you could make those plays down the field too, but we never had blazing speed out on the edges. And so you just had big guys that were matchup problems because 6'4" and can jump, and 6'7" is 6'7", and that's a problem. And so, you know, we would make plays with those kinds of dudes. Explosiveness should return to this offense this year because it's being set up by a bludgeoning effect of the run game. And I think you're going to see big plays down the field to receivers here because they made a concerted effort to bring in speed so that you could throw after setting it up with the run, play action. You brought in a quarterback whose greatest strength is the deep ball. It is the one thing that everybody can agree upon about what DJ is good at. It is throwing that deep ball. He's got a big old arm. He's a big old kid, and he's got deft touch on it too, I might add. There's a lot to like about the way he throws the ball 25-plus yards down the field, okay? Well, I thought about that a little bit and how much that bodes well married with a defense that doesn't give up big plays, right? Last year, the defense was not just good, but it didn't give up big plays, okay?
Yeah, so you're talking about win probability effect, turnovers followed by explosive play differential. Yeah.
Well, guess what? Kirby Smart thinks that it's the latter first.
Really?
He thinks it's much more important. And that article that I was reading about, I thought was pretty interesting. He talked about explosive play margin, the importance of something that he calls explosive play margin. And I'll read from the article now, lest you think I made this up. Essentially, Smart found in the data that the more teams can create big gains on run and pass plays while simultaneously limiting their opponents from doing likewise, the greater the chance of winning. It's obviously not exactly splitting the atom here, but for instance, he has said that explosive play margin is a greater indicator in winning and losing than is turnover margin, for example. And a belief that he thinks has influenced the way that he wants his offensive coaches to call plays. And that includes the goals for this year and at the Georgia offense. And last year, Georgia had the highest margin of explosive plays. And those are defined as runs of 10-plus yards and passes of 20-plus yards, okay? Those are explosive plays on the way that he charged this. Of any of the 11 power conference teams that played in the year's 6 bowl games, they were plus 71 by the data from College Football Stats. In 2022, they were plus 85. In 2021, plus 65. And really, you could go through all of this and see that by any margin, they've led the country, or been in the top 5 in the country for 4, I think in the last 5 years, 5 of the last 6 years, something along those lines, in terms of limiting opponents doing that and then themselves making those sorts of plays. Well, I think we've got the limiting part down. I don't think teams are going to have much success falling back and relying on big plays to beat this defense. I don't think that's how you attack Florida State's defense. I don't think it would work, first of all, very consistently. It might be a busted play here or there. It's football. It happens. Kids make mistakes, whatever. Kids slips. It can happen. But trying to live and wait on that ain't going to get it done against this Florida State defense. I think the way that you would attack this Florida State defense, and good luck to you, you better have a very deep and patient approach, meaning that I'm going to give the ball to 2 different running backs 15 to 20 times in this game. I'm going to try to bludgeon Florida State because I'm going to try to get this front 4 tired because I'm not sure the second group behind them is all that good, and I have questions about their linebackers. That's how I would attack Florida State. I'm not trying to air it out against this secondary where they've got corners that are going to play in the league and backup corners that are going to play in the league and a safety that's played as many games as Shaheem Brown has and plenty of guys that can fill the other safety role. I'm not trying to throw it all over the lot against them. I'm trying to run the ball. Now, there aren't too many teams that I think can do it. I don't think Georgia Tech can, but that's what they're going to try to do. You're going to run your quarterback, and you're going to try to create a math problem.
Yeah, they do, and they pick different gaps. The fun of their system and the hard part for defenses is it's not a read option where it's always the same thing, and Haynes can beat you if the defensive end wants to crash. No, they'll run between the tackles. They'll run in the A gap. They'll run in the B gap. I mean, they'll change the way they do things with the quarterback enough that if you cheat, you're going to get hurt on it. And I would agree with you. I think the approach against this defense, assuming that the offense is good. Now, if the offense isn't good, you can punt and play field position, and we can do this all day. This can be, Ravens, Steelers, circa 2006, or it can be the NFC South for the first 10 years of its existence.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to play field position with you. I'm not going to get too aggressive. If this offense is good, though, and it doesn't have to be great, but if this offense is good, then as a play caller, our opponent might be looking to get to 4th and 2. And I'm still going. Just get me to 4th and 2, and then we're going to continue to push the issue here. And we're going to make sure that our possessions take a lot of time. You almost have to think about it like you're a service academy. If our offense is good, if it's not, then you just play field position and Let's see if we can't create a havoc play. The hallmark of a great defense, and when you're playing them, when you're playing against one, is let's say that you scheme something up and it's perfect, and it's a coverage bust, and the quarterback fires down the field. Breaking wide open is the receiver, and the throw's just a little bit behind him, and he has to come back to the ball. He catches it. It's a gain of 42, but he's tackled within 5 yards instead of scoring if the ball was put in a place where it needed to be. That as a fan of the offensive team, you say, crap, we needed to score. This is a field goal now. I mean, we'll get points, but we're not scoring.
Right.
Like, that's the hallmark of a great defense, and I'm hoping that our defense is like that, where maybe through aggressiveness we might allow something once in a while, but if you can get them out of bounds at the 20-yard line, man, you ain't scoring on us.
I think they're going to be
You're
more,
not getting in the end zone.
Well, if they continue the trend, Tom, they're going to be more multiple than they've ever been. You know, this has been a slow build up to where they're more complex and not just making sure they master the standard.
Right.
You know, they have gotten to where they can throw more things at you. We used to lament that they were so obvious when they were going to blitz back couple of years ago. It was embarrassing.
Right. But what's funny about that, though, is we also would lament that, you know, when Surtain first came in here, he said zone eyes. We were saying, oh, zone eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, for my sore ears, this is what a message. But they're getting so good now in the secondary that you don't really need to worry about zone too much.
You may not have to.
Just play press man. They want to. They want to play press man and be bullies. But
every great team who has great athletes at those positions wants to play press man.
Yeah.
But it's nice to throw in a wrinkle every now and again and be able to actually do it.
Well, yeah, they do the matching stuff as well. Fuller actually brings that up every once in a while. But yeah, to your point, you know, you're getting better athletes at more segment groups here. You're probably worse at defensive line than you were last year for top end talent, but you still have a ton of it.
Yeah,
in your starting wave.
Oh, I think you are. There's no chance that you're better.
You would need somebody to emerge and become dominant.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
By that I mean in the second wave of guys.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Like Lolo Hea would have to become a pass rusher that he's never been in his career before to take you to that next level.
Be exciting.
Or Grady Kelly would have to be some facsimile of Fisk light. Doesn't have to be all of Braden Fisk because he doesn't need to be a starter. But like 90 is incredibly disruptive. If you get an emergence like that, then maybe you are on the level of last year. But now, to your point, you're so much better in the secondary. You can get a little exotic if you want to. Yeah.
Yes, you could.
Fuller had always been good with that.
Yes.
With stunts with the D-line. But, yeah, you can get a little fun.
I'm telling you, I think they're going to have a little bit more fun. The bottom line is I really like this defense. I don't think they're going to give up any big plays. And so when we're talking about that article and referencing Kirby's explosive play margin chart, and where Georgia ranks and where, you know, we're always aspiring, I think, to get better every year and add to what you were capable of a year ago. You can only do that with more talent that you bring in and stockpile said talent and have a diversity of player type and, you know, length and size and speed and all that. They have a lot of that on defense, which, I don't know, it pumps me up. By the way, just as an aside before I could take a break, in that same Atlanta Journal-Constitution, right next to the story I read was a little note that the Falcons – season tickets have sold out for the first time in over 20 years.
Really? Even with the new stadium?
Over 20.
Jeez. You would think the first year in the new stadium.
I didn't even bother to click on it because I don't care about the Falcons, but I saw that and I was like, damn.
They have like $3 beers.
What are we doing? I mean, you built Mercedes-Benz, you got the cheap beers, so you can't get everybody to come out to a ball game.
They needed to bring in Kirky Poo.
It's crazy, man. It's nuts. My friends at Tried and True Consulting, Don and Joe, they are good at what they do. They are Knowles helping Knowles, and this is a way that your business could do more business and utilize something that they provide for you in addition to all the other stuff they do. They have a ad program, and they're looking for businesses that are actively looking to utilize their wall space or have an existing television and want to generate revenue. Why wouldn't you want to do that? If you have that kind of retail space, if you are a retail location with open wall space, I should say, auto repair dealerships, anything like that, dental, medical room, waiting room, that kind of stuff, banking waiting area, they'll even in some cases come out and provide a free 55-inch television to do this for you. Give them a call today. Find out more about why you want to help out my friends at Tried and True, and they want to help you out. And oh, by the way, 10% of the net revenue goes back to the Battle's End. Knowles helping Knowles. That number to give them a call, 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A Tallahassee man was arrested for a second time on new charges of animal cruelty and practicing veterinary medicine without a license. Kenneth Wade was first arrested in June on charges of practicing veterinary medicine without a license and not returning an American Pit Bull Terrier to its owner. The new charges stem from a complaint from a woman who says her dog died after Wade clipped its ears. Wade was first cited by Tallahassee Animal Services in 2022 for failure to provide shelter for his own dog. Wade bonded out of jail overnight on Monday. New technology is now in place at Gene Cox Stadium as officials say they are working to keep students safe from severe weather during sporting events. The partnership with WeatherStem will alert those in the stadium of severe weather. A new speaker next to the scoreboard will automatically activate, warning people to seek shelter if needed. Parents will get the same communication about severe weather. This way, if parents drop their children off at the stadium, they will know to pick them up due to a weather event. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly sunny this afternoon with a slight chance for storms. High of 97. Winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear again tonight. Slight chance for storms, 75. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms. Highs level off around 93. This report is brought to you by Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 93.
Hi, I'm Mark Early, your Leon County Supervisor of Elections, reminding you there are 3 ways to vote in the August 20th primary election. You can request a vote-by-mail ballot, vote in person at one of our 10 early voting sites, or vote at your neighborhood polling place on Election Day. Make sure you are election ready by double-checking that your information is up to date. If you need to update your info, request a vote-by-mail ballot, or find where to vote in person, visit us at leonvotes.gov or call us at 850-606-8683. That's 850-606-VOTE. Thank you.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds. Like
yeah, there's like families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch
or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And but
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I do see it. Thank you, James B. I, too, am excited, buddy. Appreciate that. I'll see you over in Ireland. It was good to see you the other night in Pensacola. Have either of you looked closely at Georgia Tech's offensive line for this season? A little bit. I have a little bit. Obviously, I interviewed their head coach, who is a former offensive lineman himself and Georgia Tech graduate, and they ran for over 1,000 yards this past year. I had a running back go for over 1,000 yards for the first time in a while. And he's always going to want to run the ball. I mean, that's his mindset. He's going to do that. Here's what I'll tell you about their offensive line. That is a transfer that came in Kalen Rutledge, who's a nice player that they brought over. They go senior, redshirt, junior, senior, junior. And when I was looking at it before my interview, I think the left tackle was the only kid that wasn't an upperclassman. He's a sophomore, if I remember correctly. So that's the look. Now that, typically when you see senior, redshirt, junior, things like that, then they've played a lot of football and they've had a chance to get bigger and stronger.
And they're large in the interior. They're tall. Sometimes your interior will be, especially at a school like Georgia Tech that hasn't won a whole bunch, you would expect to see 6'1s and 6'3s. But they're mostly 6'4 or taller across the interior of that offensive line. So it's not just about the experience. They're large. 6'6", 300 plus at left guard. I think they're 6'4 at center, 6'4 at right guard. So it's just this is a large group. I looked at it at our lads. You can kind of guess who the starters are going to be based upon transfers and seniority, things like that. That's always a good for a first game of the season. That's a good website to go to just to see about projected starters. But a lot of size up front. So this will not be a group that we just overpower because we show up. This is a group that'll be technically sound. Again, that's their head coach. But usually the interior of the offensive line isn't as tall as what Georgia Tech's will be.
Yeah, and the right guard you reference at 6'4", 310 plus is the transfer, but it's a Middle Tennessee transfer. It's not. We're not talking about a kid who came over from Notre Dame or something like that. So where you have a historically good offensive line year in and year out, it seems like at Notre Dame. Brent Key's got some good things going on. Listen, they played well last year. Obviously, became bowl eligible. They added to Miami's pain and misery. So good on you for doing that. It's a beautiful thing. But, that's a guy who's passionate about that team. He went to school there, graduated there, loves the school, and loves to run the ball. I mentioned to you that I interviewed Jamal Haynes, and we'll play that interview for you, I think, before we play Georgia Tech. It would make sense for me to play that interview.
Yeah.
We will
probably from Ireland.
Yeah, we'll play that from Ireland. Jamal's a great kid. Really liked talking to him. Very enjoyable. He's a redshirt junior. He's the one who went over 1,000 yards. But when you see him, you realize that he's tough to find behind the line because they're all big, as Tom points out, and he's 5'8". Lit it up at Grayson. You guys from Georgia, you know all about this. So.
You made sure that he knew he was 5'8" too in that interview. How do you do it? Were a couple of the questions.
Yeah, well, and I don't know a nice way to ask that question because here's the thing that I admire about him. Yeah, he's a scat pack, but I thought on film what stood out is that he actually blocked. And so that was going to be my line of question. It was meant to be a compliment, but it's tough to, it's how do you ask a kid how you hang in there and block without bringing up the fact that it's remarkable at 5'8" that he's hanging in there and blocking? I got to bring that up. And so, but he didn't take offense to it. He was great.
He did not, no.
He was like, I've always been proud of that. I'll hang in there. You got to anchor yourself and be ready to go. You got to do it or you won't get on the field. And I know how coaches are about running backs. This is why our running back room is amazing, and I am pumped about it. But I'm pretty sure 3 of those guys I can eliminate from getting a lot of time just from what I've seen at camp so far, like in terms of year one. Like some of these young guys that just came in at running back, you got to show me that you're more than just fast. A lot of guys are fast. They got a lot of speed in there. And you got to show me that, you've got more than just great vision. Most running backs that are recruited at a level that you get a scholarship to Florida State have really good vision. Of course they do. They wouldn't have had the film to even be looked at, right? But will you be able to protect the quarterback? And I think this is critical. It's always important. But I think it's going to be critical this year. If you're going to take deep shots that takes forever to develop, you've got to give your quarterback an extra beat, an extra second, an extra half second to full second to let that thing develop and get the ball. If you're going to push the ball 50 and 60 yards down the field and take advantage of this kid's arm and all the speed that you brought in, you got to hold that block longer. And there are going to be times that guys get free. It's hard to hold blocks for 3 and 4 seconds at a time. Somebody's going to, especially against a Clemson or a Miami. These are guys that have defensive lines that are imposing. They're going to win their fair share of battles. And you're going to need a running back to stick his head in there and make a block to be able to, get that extra beat and get the ball down the field. So I do think we're all excited about a lot of guys. If they're not blocking well in the pass game, they're not going to see the field as runners.
That's why my guy Keziah, no matter what, he could have a couple of days where you don't hear his name. His pass protection skills give me hope that he will be one of those who are trusted in the key moments.
You got to be reliable. You really got to be reliable.
And the look of a back who's good at it too. It's its own form of football beauty that goes unappreciated, almost like a good fullback, because the responsibility is the same. It's selfless. You don't have the ball in your hand, but a running back who can scrape across and pick up a blitzer because there was some sort of miscommunication on the offensive line, comes up and cleans that up. Man, that guy is so valuable. And how many times do we see a game, if we rewatch it, maybe you don't see it the first go round, but that the running back either missed a protection or picked something up and it allowed the quarterback to follow through, not get even grazed as he throws. and he needed every inch of the throw that he could get on it in order to drop it in the breadbasket for a big play.
Well, and I think the hard part, too, for everybody, when you see a guy who has, somebody in the Cody's talking in the chat about Cam. I agree. Cam is a physical specimen, Cody. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch play football. But the only thing I'll tell you, and I caution you about this, blocking isn't solely about being a big, strong guy. Obviously, we just got done talking about Jamal Haynes. Jamal Haynes is 5'8". I'm sure he's strong, but he doesn't weigh a lot, and he's a good blocker. And there have been big, strong dudes at the running back position who cannot block because technique matters. You get taught this. You watch this in camp. You watch them teach guys to step up and take on that block, and there are many ways to do that. But there's a technical aspect to this, and you got to get good at that. Then you can utilize whatever size you might have or strength you might have. But if your technique is off, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, it's not a crackback. No. The leverage is the key, and it almost looks like you're powerlifting if you're a back and you're blocking properly, because a lot of that contact comes up high, but it's an explosive movement. It's
an explosive movement. Where you place your hands matters. Right. There's a lot of it, and they've been working on it quite a bit. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be fascinating to see who gets in that rotation. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Hello, Leon County. Let's get ready to win with Ken. I'm Ken Preston. I want to be your next Leon County property appraiser. I'm driven, committed, experienced, and a dedicated community servant. I'm ready to put my experience as a former property appraiser to work to help make a difference for the people of Leon County. Let's go to work. Vote for me. Ken Preston for Leon County Property Appraiser 2024. Win with Ken. Hey, political advertisement by Ken Preston for Leon County Property Appraiser.
Howdy, folks. Jeff Cameron here to tell you about my friends at DexaFit Tallahassee. What is DexaFit, you might ask? Well, it's where you want to go if you're looking to elevate your health and fitness journey. DexaFit's exclusive services include AI-enhanced body scans, VO2 max fit testing, and RMR metabolism analysis to provide detailed insights into your body composition, cardiovascular fitness, and metabolic well-being. Sounds like a lot of science, but that's because it is the most advanced science available. In fact, that's a good thing, right? DexaFit gives you immediate detailed insights about your body composition, provides a customized plan to improve on troubled areas, delivered in an easy-to-navigate mobile app so you can share the information with your trainer or even your doctor to find the most direct path to your peak health. Check out DexaFit Tallahassee, the most accurate and most state-of-the-art body composition scanning and fitness planning available. Located on Capitol Circle Northeast, directly next to Bumpus. Check them out online at DexaFit.com and tell them Jeff Cameron sent you. DexaFit Tallahassee. Know your body and transform your life. Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, got to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. It's MillerSeptic.com.
Your destination for the most authentic Peruvian flavors in the capital city is Café de Martín and El Bar, where you can escape to another world and indulge in the true taste and experience of Peru. Enjoy daily lunch specials like our all-new lomo saltado or beef asado sandwiches served with a side and a drink. All-day happy hour every day and exciting live entertainment every weekend. Join us Friday, August 29th with a night of your favorite songs with guitarist George Beju. View our full menu and live music schedule online at cafedemartin.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Jacksonville Jaguars laying 3 at home with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Everbank Stadium. 37.5 the total in week 2 of the preseason on Saturday. Kyle Larson, Danny Hamlin, the co-favorites to win the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan. They're both at plus 650. Ryan Blaney plus 750. Martin Truex Jr. is 8-1. The Braves have won back-to-back extra inning 1-run games for the Braves and the Giants at Oracle Park. Braves minus 105, Giants minus 115, 8 over the total. Tampa Bay Rays plus 102 at home today against the Astros minus 122. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. Progressive.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Summer. Wait, we need to finish school shopping.
We got this. The kids' favorite Good and Gather snacks at Target are now at a new lower price.
And $5 lunch boxes. Oh, let's get Luna the flower bento box.
Good idea. And for our Mega Shark fan Max, I got the Shark backpack. It's only $20.
Even 25-cent select crayons and $6 teas.
And we're done.
Now, where were we?
Here's to us. When it comes to finishing your supply list, Target has your back to school. My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we know if you have something in your home that's not supposed to be there, you want it gone now.
Not in a couple of days, not tomorrow, but today. That's why we offer a same-day guarantee.
If you call Paul's before 12, one of our technicians will be out before 5. We guarantee it.
The health of you, your family, and your pets is why we promise to do everything possible to quickly resolve your problem.
And we do so using the safest chemicals. Notice a pest problem?
Call Paul's Termite and Pest Control before 12, and we're there before 5.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
We're all spending more time at home than we ever have.
And our yards have become more than something we look at through the window. They are now a major part of our refuge.
Now that we're outside more, wouldn't it be great if we could eliminate the things that make us want to run back inside? Pests like mosquitoes and fire ants.
Paul's Pest Control can do just that, and will do it for a surprisingly low cost.
Our treatments are done outside. There is never a reason to enter your home.
The weather is beautiful, and now is the time to be outside.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control will help you take your yard back.
Call us for a free consultation.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wednesday. Thanks for joining us Always appreciate that as well. Run into people all the time in and about town and elsewhere that listen to the show on a daily basis. Thanks for doing that. And a lot of you guys that listen do so at work. Do so while you're providing a service for this great community, and I appreciate that. I've gotten to appreciate it more and more over the years. Meeting guys, as I've said before, delivery guys and guys working in the post office and guys working in the medical field and just doing work, listening to this show. Cool, man. Glad we can do it. Glad you're listening to it. Greatly appreciate you. We're this much closer. It is. We start getting into the numbers like we were last hour, and we start talking about the team and what I think they'll be and the opportunities and then the game itself. And we are already beginning to talk about how install is going on in camp. But then that gets you into looking at Georgia Tech, what they are or what they are not, what they project to be, who we think they'll be, what this game might look like. It is tough in first games. You know, there's only one first game of the year, and after that, you know something. I mean, you know something for real. It's not just suggestive. You've got an idea of what they're trying to do schematically, what they're going to maybe rely on. Now, everybody adjusts, and we know that teams adjust probably more than they do at any other point after week one going into week two. And that's been talked about forever. But again, you still will have a core identity, and you'll be able to react to something other than just another day at camp. And camp by nature, because they're human beings and it's hot as Hades and they've seen all of it a million times, really has sort of an up and down feel to it. There's always a guy that has an off day, and there's always a guy that plays a lot better than he did the day before. And it's just, that makes it tough after a certain point once you recognize who are the 11 that they're going to rely on to start the game on offense. Who are the 11 that they're going to rely on to start the game at defense? Who are the guys that are coming in to supplant those guys when they get tired and they need more reps while they're resting from this guy and that guy? Once you have that, you just get anxious about wanting to see it against a different team, a different uniform, a different scheme with different stakes on the line.
Yeah, this is where, getting to that scout team stuff is actually very valuable. Even though from a practice aesthetic standpoint, and people who can get into it, it's a little bit more boring because the competition isn't to the level that good on good is. It's way more important to get the muscle memory down of the things you're trying to impart, the timing, the spacing, the alignment, the looks you're getting, the communication. How quickly can you get those signals in? If the coach throws a wrinkle at you, which they will, how quickly can you, assimilate that information and take it to heart and get into the position that you need to get? This is a critical part of camp that they have right now, where it breaks up that monotony of, like last year, Braden Fisk ruins 11-on-11 football. He's too good.
Yeah.
He did that so often. He was the reason to me that I thought pass protection was going to be poor last year in the interior, because he kept on eating up the middle. He was so good. He affected so many plays. Well, the good news for us, we're hoping this for the secondary this year, is he was just that damn good. And he might have wrecked pass pro in 11-on-11 when it was ones versus ones in practice last year. But that had more to do with him and less to do with inept offensive line in terms of pass pro. They were good at it when they got to the games. So at some point, there's a limiting factor when all you see is one matchup over and over again. And that's where the scout team stuff is important. And the good news also is, talked about this on Monday night on the Smash, is that the roster is starting to get to a place where even the scout team has some players now. The scout team will provide you at least some level of challenge if you're not in the right place. Whereas a season or two ago, you could just kind of dunk on the scout team. No, you got to have to earn it in some position groups this year.
There are players on the scout team. We talked about this on headlines yesterday, Tom. There are players on the scout team that are maybe third on the depth chart, fourth on the depth chart, maybe. That would start at most places in the ACC, certainly. When you are looking, I don't want to name names, but when you've got some guys that maybe they're freshmen, but they were 4 or 5 star players with a lot of length and upside for days, especially in that secondary, where, if you think about it, he said 15 deep.
Right.
Now, I was standing right there when he said it. I rolled my eyes at 15 deep. But double digits is right.
Double digits is correct. And by midseason, 15 might even be right. Or maybe November. Fine. You split hairs. You get into the month of November with all the training these guys have. Yeah, the receivers, that if they're working with the ones, the starting offense for scout team and install, you have it easier But you don't have it necessarily cakewalk easy.
No, this is the competition. We always get into this. We've talked about this for years. That LSU team that was so good with Burrow, we talked about those practices and those guys. I mean, it was just NFL players everywhere. And you're aspiring to get to where Georgia is. This is what we're all trying to do. This is you want to get to that place. And
that's what we were in 13.
Yeah. That's exactly what
we didn't get to see those practices, but it's part of the call. It's a different Kirk Herbstreit iteration in the eyes of the fan base and the hearts of the fan base. But he talked about it before the drive commenced, the one that won us the national championship, which was, you see, good on good. At the end of the week for Florida State in terms of full contact practices, they would go good on good. And my God, I wish we had film of those wars with the 2013 Florida State Seminoles.
It was awesome.
On a Thursday afternoon. I wish we had film of that. Man, our fan base would eat that up. The talent that was going back and forth. Man.
I try to get, it's annoying that I do this because this is what I want for them. This is where I want them to be. But it is annoying because it affects the moment for me. I don't know if you do this, but it doesn't matter the team. This is less about me praising the team who happens to reside atop now. That changes over time. These things are fluid. For a very long time, unfortunately, it was Alabama that you had to compare yourself to if you were trying to become the preeminent program in the sport. There was no arguing. It was Alabama, right? It is currently Georgia. Now, I know Michigan is your reigning invitational champion, but Georgia is the preeminent program in college football. They are the best college. I believe they would have won the national championship last year had they been in the playoff. I think they were the best team in college football last year, who happened to slip up and lose in the SEC championship, which in a weird way, in an ancillary way, cost us dearly. But that said, doesn't really matter. When I watch,
good point. Thanks a lot, Georgia.
Yeah, you screwed it up. But when I watch us, I'm always asking myself, and I can't know necessarily because I'm not in Georgia's camp. I know what they have coming back. I know the players that they have and the returners and all of that. But I ask myself, okay, are we at that level anywhere yet? Like, would you look, certainly not linebacker, but would you look at our offensive line now and say, it's in the conversation? Because I'll tell you what, you look at any list of the most highly rated offensive lines returning to college football for the 2024 season. I'm sure some of you, if you do this, you'll find a ridiculous list that doesn't include Florida State in the top 10, but it'd be hard to find because Florida State will be behind Georgia, and they'll be behind Texas, and they'll probably be rated behind, I've seen Oregon several times as a top 5 offensive line unit. From there, I'm not sure who else you're behind. Oklahoma State's got a good offensive line. They're rated very highly in any publication you look at. We look at returning starters. You'll get PFF grades, whatever you want to do. They're a very good offensive line. Are they better than Florida State's? I don't think so. Look at LSU's offensive line. Very good offensive line, right? Definitively better than Florida State's? I don't think you can say that. I don't think you can say that.
Interesting.
I think Miami's got a good offensive line. Is it better than Florida State's? I don't think so. Tennessee's got a very good offensive line. Florida State's is, I think, likely better. I think Florida State's is better. Clemson's got a good offensive line. Georgia Tech has a top 25 offensive line, according to a lot of those grades, those measuring sticks.
Yeah.
People are worried about Alabama's offensive line. They don't think it's a top 10 offensive line. They don't think it's a top 15 offensive line in a lot of cases.
And they had major issues in the recent past with their offensive line in Bryce Young's final year.
So I guess my point is this, you almost pinch yourself to a degree because this is the first time in a very long time, Tom, that I can tell you that I think Florida State's offensive line, now listen to the words carefully. I don't mean you, I just mean people in general.
Mm-hmm.
In my constant need to see us ascend to being the best program in America, to be a dominant national champion caliber program, again, as we just were in 2013, as we were in 2014. We haven't been a championship caliber team prior to last year since 2014. All right. That's a long time.
It is.
All right. So
we lived it.
Yeah. Now, when I take the segment groups, I look at offensive line, defensive line, secondary, wide receivers. Lord knows we're not there at wide receiver. Running back, quarterback room, all of it, right? The first thing I came back to when I was doing that, I was standing there yesterday, I did this. Man, there's 10 dudes over there on that offensive line that all could start for the vast majority of people in this country. Like, they may have certainly 8, but they run 10 deep in terms of guys they can roll out there, and you're not going to lose much. And FSU had 206 career starts combined for last year's group. This year, it's 187 starts, career starts. That's a ton. So you don't go back, and now the depth of talent that's there with the transfers that came in particular Richie Leonard, who's really good. Mike Norvell said that this will be his best offensive line that he's had at Florida State. He went on to say that it's the best offensive line he's ever had, which makes sense. Should be. You're at Florida State, not Memphis. But, I mean, this is one area. I want to be able to say it more next year and the year after till everybody's comparing and contrasting themselves to us. I want to get to that. That's a tough deal. Everybody's aspiring to that. And that's the curve that I'm grading against.
I would agree on the left side. And I think that if you have a couple of solutions present themselves on the right side, then,
I think they will.
And if they do, then I wholly agree with you. I think center to left tackle, you're going to very much like what you have. And I'm not the guy who always hates on the offensive line. Like Craig in the chat right now said, slow your roll, Jeff. Slow your roll. Craig, I remember you in 2013. I remember you in 2014. You hated the offensive lines those 2 years.
Yeah, Craig's never happy with the offensive line, even when they're really good.
That's correct. So stop being Looney Tunes and allow yourself to believe that at least half the offensive line might very well be at that level. To me, it's just we had concerns about right tackle before camp started, and we'll see how right tackle looks when we go week to week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've got a lot of good candidates at right guard. Who's going to take that mantle? This is part of me not seeing a ton of practices too, like not seeing a lot of those guys, how they gel together. But you've got a lot of depth to throw at the problem. And like I said, even after seeing one practice on Tuesday where they're going full and they're in full pads today, obviously not quite. Or Monday, I should say. They've got 10 options, I believe. If everybody's healthy, throughout the season, and that's hard in the offensive line. That's very hard. It's almost impossible. We got lucky in 2013 that was the case because that 5 was elite and they all stayed healthy save for one game. If they do, though, I think they've got 10, maybe north of 10 options, but we'll see what the attrition is like because the season happens and you're going to be without guys from time to time.
Well, it's certainly nice when you go redshirt senior, redshirt senior, redshirt senior, redshirt junior, redshirt senior.
Yeah.
Let me just start with that.
They've seen some things.
Let me just start with that. Redshirt. These are old ass dudes. These are guys that, in Darius Washington's case, he was here before Mike Norvell. He started games here before Mike Norvell was the head coach. That's eons ago. I mean, like, this is amazing to think about, right? So, again, I'll be interested to see how they do it. I'm going to give an opinion, not something that is giving anything away. These are players that are candidates for these spots, right? Tom, I think they could go if they wanted to. They could start another redshirt senior that I think would – I don't know if he's on the bench or not. We'll see when they list the starters. But he doesn't he's not a shoo-in to be a starter. But you have a redshirt senior that is kind of a guard on either side in Keandre Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
He's played a ton of football. He's a massive individual.
Very smart player, too.
He also looks better this camp than he did last year. He's in better shape, I might add. Well, my opinion is that he would start along with Richie Leonard, that TJ Ferguson, who we brought in from Alabama, would not start.
Interesting.
That's my opinion. I may be wrong. Atkins' opinion could be very different, and he's the coach. So that's fine. We'll wait and see. But I would solve my right side problem that you speak of by fixing the left side with either Keandre Jones or Richie Leonard, and the other goes to the right side. Whoever doesn't start at left guard goes over to the right guard spot. And now all I've got to figure out is right tackle. Well, I'm here to tell you, if he's healthy, your right tackle is Robert Scott. That is a giant if. But Robert Scott has already proven himself to be, when he's healthy, and again, it's a giant win, has already proven himself to be a top-tier ACC offensive lineman. Robert Scott, a healthy Robert Scott, would start for most teams in the SEC, period. He would. So what if Robert Scott's your right tackle and it's not Jeremiah Byers, and your left tackle is Darius, and the guards are Leonard and Keandre Jones, and then Maurice is Maurice.
And Maurice looks better.
He looks great. He looks healthy finally.
Yeah.
Buddy, that's a good offensive line, a really good offensive line, and you don't have to put a qualifier on it. It's not left side offensive line. It's offensive line, period.
I think it's a good offensive line as long as any of these usual suspects are in the five.
Yeah, they don't get hurt.
I'm just saying, if you're differentiating between that's a solid ass group right there. I like them. Versus, this is maybe one of the top 3 O-lines in the country. I think you would need all of your guys to be healthy, available, and to be able to do that consistently week in and week out.
In fairness, so would the other teams that we would mention in this discussion.
Agreed. Yep. It's almost like we put different hats on, though, because, I've got concerns about the longevity of certain players. You may have just mentioned one, because that's what recent history has told me. But Darius, I feel very good about at left tackle. And Mo, I got to tell you, there's a little bit more strength and freshness to his game. Richie Leonard is very impressive. He fits what the offense is asking him to do nicely, even at that size. Man, they've got a lot of options with which to work. And the right side last year, even the year before, Jazz wasn't supposed to be a tackle. He got flexed out to tackle, Jazz Turrentine. They like to rotate on that right half. It's almost like that's the staging area, and the left half is where the studs go. But we'll see. We'll see how they play it out.
I'm going to tell you the mistake they made. And this would make, can you imagine? It really pisses me off a little bit. And listen, I'm not in the room. I don't hear the conversation.
There we go.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah. What you know about where you're going?
Bless Harris. Bless Harris. If Bless Harris were here right now, and he should be, we wouldn't be talking about all this. Well, I don't know what we're going to do over there. Right. Man, you'd be set.
To be clear, they've got options and not bad ones. If you're trying to go to the elite level of the 2024 offensive lines in power football, I would like to see us have multiple proven options at right tackle. That's all. And they could. We could get to the end of the Memphis game and go, well, that's 3 weeks now. What more you need to see, Tom? Huh? Okay, fair. It's possible.
I think I'm gonna tell you, I think the offensive line is really good, period. I'm not throwing a caveat out there. I think they're really good. I think they're as veteran-laden as you could ever hope for. A ton of football been played, and they're all massive. This finally looks like a group that if you plug and play big-time college football with 6'4", 330, 6'5", 335, 6'4", 310. Maurice is small compared to the rest of this group, and he's 6'3", 300 pounds, and he's tiny.
I buy that listing, too. I didn't always buy 285 for Maurice, but I got to buy the 3 bills now more than I used to.
That's my point. You guys have heard me talk about DexaFit. DexaFit is really where you want to go if you're going to elevate your health and fitness journey. You can combine it with whatever workout plan you already have. So I'm not asking you to stop going to Orange Theory or stop going to one of the other places or a gym or even your home gym, whatever it might be. But DexaFit has exclusive services which feature enhanced body scans, and they do VO2 max testing. And you get that DEXA scan. I've had one. I went in there and did it. They started talking to me about what they wanted to do when they came on board as partners. And they said, well, we want you to go through the process so you can see what it is you're talking about and learn from it. I've learned a ton about my body, probably too much. I've learned where all the strengths are, but I've also sadly learned where all the weaknesses are. They're like, oh, you're good here, man. You're top tier % here. This isn't so good over here. We need to talk about this over here. Why don't we stay over here and talk about this? No, we're going to work on the things you're not good at. This is already good. This is already good over here. Let's get to this. And then they give you a pathway. They give you a chance. You can go through these results. It's really easy for you to see the results. And really what I think you'll like is finding out how much visceral fat do you have. That's the bad fat, guys. That's the fat that, causes problems. And you need to get rid of that fat. Some fats are good. Visceral fat's bad. You got to get that fixed. A DEXA scan will help you do that. If you want to learn more and transform your body and transform your health, DEXAFit.com. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653. Howdy, folks. Jeff Cameron here to tell you about my friends at DEXAFit Tallahassee. What is DEXAFit, you might ask? Well, it's where you want to go if you're looking to elevate your health and fitness journey. DEXAFit's exclusive services include AI-enhanced body scans, VO2 max fit testing, and RMR metabolism analysis to provide detailed insights into your body composition, cardiovascular fitness, and metabolic well-being. Sounds like a lot of science, but that's because it is the most advanced science available. In fact, that's a good thing, right? DEXAFit gives you immediate detailed insights about your body composition, provides a customized plan to improve on troubled areas, delivered in an easy-to-navigate mobile app so you can share the information with your trainer or even your doctor to find the most direct path to your peak health. Check out DEXAFit Tallahassee, the most accurate and most state-of-the-art body composition scanning and fitness planning available. Located on Capitol Circle Northeast, directly next to Bumpus. Check them out online at DEXAFit.com and tell them Jeff Cameron sent you. DEXAFit Tallahassee. Know your body and transform your life.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
I'm attorney Carrie Roan with Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we believe you. Now, what does that mean? Over and over, we hear from the people that we represent that when they share their story of how they were injured, either law enforcement, insurance companies, or business owners didn't believe their story. That's why you need an attorney who has your back no matter what. An attorney who starts by believing that you're telling the truth. We are Basic Brooks, and we believe you. Let's talk. 850-777-7777.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about the battle's end. You can win an Xbox signed by Florida State's head football coach, Mike Norvell, if you enter to win. If you're watching on Warchant TV, you see the beauty of the garnet and gold on that Xbox. Look at that thing. Look at that. Hey, I'm going to couple this with a little heads up, everybody. Not only can you win an Xbox and support the Battles Inn, and this is being provided by the Battles Inn, this Florida State customized Xbox signed by Mike Norvell. TBE members receive double credit for your entry. So if you're not a member, go get signed up now. But, oh, by the way, after you do, if you happen to swing past Games for Less today, you may find out there that I think Madden may have arrived.
Oh, there you go.
I can't say for certain, but I think maybe Madden is there at Games for Less for you to play on your Battles Inn Mike Norvell signed Xbox.
I have not played nearly the amount of college football that I was hoping
You haven't
to
had
have
time,
played
Tom. You haven't had time. We've been readying ourselves for Ireland,
It's-
getting ready for football. You're back and forth. You know, you're doing things.
It's De Niro. It's not enough time. Not enough time.
The conversation at the diner.
That's the problem. But yeah, so I did play with director Ben Spicer last week, a few games. And
Coach Spicer had a good year this year, went 10-4 with his club.
you follow the club. There you go.
Well, we talk about it every day at practice, yeah.
He clearly plays a lot, and I'm impressed with his aptitude. I got him in the first game, mostly because I used Florida State's speed to my advantage, and I caught him sleeping in coverage a couple of times. But then I got wholly dismissed. And so I think we need to start allocating more time to this. We need to start allocating more time to refining those skills because it's in me. I can see I'm within the margins, but I'm an old man. This is like the Rocky montage in Rocky 7 when they said, your joints are all calcified. You don't have anything left.
Yeah.
So we're just going to build hurting bombs. That's what I'm going to need to be as a college football online gamer.
I see in the chat, by the way, that we have Alex drinking a Guinness in England right now while listening and watching the Jeff Cameron show. He's waiting for the weekend to head over to Ireland. Alex, we will be there soon. I will be there. I'll be headed that way anyhow. This Sunday. Today's Wednesday. This Sunday.
Unreal.
I'm on a plane flying to Ireland. Doesn't suck. You know what it is? You wait, you're so excited, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, it's here. I forgot. I got to do this. I got to pay this bill. I got to make sure I do. Oh, we forgot to wash those jeans. Got to do this, and this. Oh yeah. Better mow the lawn before I leave. In this heat with the rain, it'll be up to our eyes when I get back. It's just over and over and over again. The things, the many, many things. Good for you, Alex. Enjoy that Guinness. Cheers to you.
Man.
Cilantro.
7:30 p.m. in England right now.
It's a good time for a beer.
It is a good
time for a
beer.
Guinness.
That will be us. Now we've got it. We're on the FCC back home, so we need to keep it tight. But I'd say around 8:05, 3:05 for you local folk here next week. Maybe 8:02. We'll go Imperial Pint, and we'll try to split the G straight up each day.
Love it. I got Ira to admit it yesterday on the show in our Splitting the G contest last year at the pub that we were at. It was remarkable, the skill. I was holding that fresh pint of Guinness with the lads. We were all there waiting to have our contest, and we learned of the splitting of the G. Scott taught us there.
Yeah.
And I knew in my heart of hearts that I was going to win. And it was just drinking prowess in general. And I was like, well, this is an unfair contest, guys. And it was split, Tom. You've seen the picture. It was split.
Now, not by the stand. You did not know that the locals do it a different way. They measure against the top of the beer, not the line between the head of the beer and the actual dark stout. You had it that way. In my mind's eye, when I saw you guys doing it, I thought that was the rule. The balance between light and dark is the line. And you nailed it. It's almost as though it matched the font of the G perfectly. But
I had people in the pub to come take a look at it.
Yeah.
They were like, can I see? I was like, well, this is guys. And they all came over. But many a local were like, that's impressive, young man.
Apparently, the way to do it is the top of the beer itself. You got to get all the way to the top of the head of the beer. So that's an extra 3/4 of a gulp and a quarter.
That's no problem for me.
It is no problem. It just changes the math a little bit. And it's mostly a math equation once you get it down.
TPE, thanks for watching and listening in Amsterdam, my friend. Enjoy the joy that is Amsterdam.
Mushroom Kingdom.
Tell my friends in Holland that I said hello. Nobody ever calls it Holland anymore. Always the Netherlands.
I am from Holland.
Why?
Isn't that weird?
Why? Fraunhofer.
You see that they don't have practice open next week? I found that interesting. You would think it'd almost be like a bowl game that you would allow some access to the practice. But
well, it sucks for Corey because he was staying back to come to practice to give us practice updates while we were in Ireland.
They practice through Wednesday here.
Yeah.
And then they practice Thursday,
there.
Friday over there.
Yeah. No, we're not allowed to go in.
Not allowed.
I can. I think I can.
Oh, really?
I do. I've already toured the facilities numerous times.
No,
I feel like
they
know me pretty well there. I feel like I just talked to the
Matthew, Colin, how are you?
Good to see you, boys. Lads, it's been a minute.
Back again.
Yeah.
Come on in.
I did. I will tell you, just so you get a feel for this, everybody, and it did serve a purpose for us being over there. It's a weird sort of it's a weird stadium. It's not built for football. It's not built for professional football. It is built for professional football. They're professional football, but not ours, or collegiate football. You know, the stadium now, the dimensions in terms of the 100 yards and everything else is going to be fine, and yeah, it's a real field. But the locker rooms, the way they have to try to put together 2 and 3 different areas underneath the stadium for the players and coaches to all gather is remarkable. So if you've seen the show,
Ted Lasso.
Yeah, if you've seen the show Ted Lasso, you know how tiny those soccer locker rooms are. Obviously,
got to put shin guards in there.
Yeah, and you're only housing, how many players total on a professional soccer team? I don't even know.
20.
Yeah, at best, right? Yeah. So when we first got in there, I'm looking around the locker rooms. They're like, well, this is where the visitors will be, and this is where the home team will be. And I'm just staring at these locker rooms like, you're going to get 7 offensive linemen here total. You're going to get 7 guys that could fit in here that are the size of Florida State's players. How are you going to fit the team in here? And I did. I asked the guy. He was like, we're not. He's like, what we do is we open up this area here and we move all this out and we open up this. There's like 3 areas. It is so strange, but they have to do it that way. If this thing continues to take off, it's sold out. They've done very well. The promotions in Ireland and Dublin in particular, and I follow this closely because I became friends with those guys. They're excited about it. The city of Dublin gets excited about this now. They like welcoming in the fan bases and seeing. Now, it's good for them, tourism, all that stuff, and obviously the businesses love it. They make a ton of money, but they love the energy. Think about the passion of a European soccer fan, of a European sports fan of any kind, rugby, obviously, soccer, all that. They're nothing if not passionate, right? So they get the fanaticism of college football fans. Pro football fans are not that way. Pro football fans, there are a couple fanatical fan bases, but not many. Buffalo's fanatical.
Yeah, I would say
Oakland used to be.
Like if you combined the end zone season ticket holders of every NFL fan base, then you might get something akin to the hooliganism, and I mean that in a kind way, of Premier League fans and soccer fans overseas. Yeah, but you'd have to go to the end zones. Certainly not the sidelines. Those are too expensive.
No.
Those seats are way too expensive.
But collegiate football fans are amazing, right? They're all, this is why in cities across America, you have these little college towns with 100,000 seat stadiums, 90,000 seat stadiums, 80,000 seat stadiums. So you get over there, their stadiums aren't nearly that size.
Right. And internationally, people are enamored with college football.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there on non-sports trips. I've been to a trip to Halifax. And these guys, all they want to talk about was college football. You've been to Doak Campbell Stadium?
Right.
Like, I work there. You've been to Clemson? We go over to the States once a year and we pick a stadium to go to.
Yeah.
In Brighton, England, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about the NFL. Tell us about what it's like on Saturdays.
Because again, you can see the passion and the energy. This is why people who love college football love college football. They prefer it over NFL any day of the week because of the passion that is infused in those stadiums, the life of those stadiums on a Saturday. This is what we talk about when we talk about if we ever get out of this conference. You don't have to go play Duke and Wake and Syracuse, sorry ass, and all these other teams, BC, and these bums that don't have anybody in the stands. Like, if you're in the SEC, if you're in the Big Ten, more often than not, you are going to a place that is passionate, over the top, crazy for their team. And when you talk to people in Ireland, and when I was over there talking to the group that puts this on, the Aer Lingus group that puts this on, one of the things that they all talked about, and again, the United States is huge. It's a huge country. And most Europeans, when they come over here, they can't believe that they can see it on a map. But if you ever meet somebody who's come over here and spent significant time in the States and drove across the country, they can't fathom the sheer mass of the United States, right? Because you can go to country to country to country to country in Europe in like a day. It's amazing, right? So when you're in Ireland talking to them about this, they're like, wait a minute. You, from where you live in Tallahassee, Florida, how many stadiums of over 70,000 people are there within a 10-hour drive? I'm like, oh, well, really? The entirety of the SEC? There's one in my backyard, and then, Clemson, and you go through. Wow. There's
a lot
too
of
many to
people.
count.
Yeah, there's a lot of people around here, and they don't have much to do.
But passionate.
Yeah.
But really passionate. So
that was me talking about SEC country. We got plenty to do here.
Yeah. But what I think is going to be fascinating is, again, getting over there. Like, that stadium is going to echo with the Warchant because of the way that overhang sits. It is going to be so loud.
And the cool thing is, I think most of you that might have downloaded the app probably see this on the itinerary. But I can say that, we are doing our pregame show from this VIP event that they had where they sold tickets to a specific tailgate. It's a tailgate at RDS. If you have that on your ticket, we'll see you there. If not, they're not doing day of entry. And sorry about that. But the reason I bring that up is the folks who are coordinating that particular event coordinate the march of the marching Chiefs through the streets of Dublin down to Aviva Stadium. And so for those of you that are going to be over there, at 3:30 p.m. is when the marching Chiefs will walk us all down as Noles. We are allowed to walk with them.
This is after I have spoken with the great Von Stryker.
That is correct. Bjorn Werner will be a guest of the pregame show.
That's right.
2 Saturdays from now.
My man, Bjorn, if you're listening, can't wait, buddy.
That interview will be conducted around 2 o'clock, 2:05 Irish time, 3:30 Irish time, 5 o'clock game. We're walking. We're walking with the marching Chiefs through the streets of Dublin down to the stadium. I mean, that is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
100%.
To hear our band and the sound of our band, it's a pep band, I know is what they're terming it as, but it's nearly 200 members of the marching Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
The sounds of their instruments echoing off the walls of Dublin pubs and hotels.
That ice-cold Guinness in your hand as you make your way to that stadium.
61-degree weather. Get out of here. Can't beat it.
Forget about it. It's going to be amazing. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Is behind bars after being accused of shooting 3 people, including his girlfriend in Southeast Tallahassee. Caleb Lewis, 21 years old, faces 3 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of kidnapping in connection to the shooting. The incident unfolded at the Emery Cove Apartments located at 2822 block of Old St. Augustine Road. Lewis and his girlfriend had gotten into an argument that day before the shooting happened. A security camera captured Lewis standing over his girlfriend who was on the ground. The footage also showed several gunshots being fired down a hallway. That's when the victim was seen running from the hallway and across the apartment complex's parking lot. Lewis was seen on the footage chasing after her. He caught the victim and escorted her at gunpoint back to the initial incident location. 2 people who knew the victim arrived to help. However, Lewis shot them as well. Lewis later dropped the victim off at the hospital before turning himself in. All 3 victims' injuries were non-life-threatening. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly sunny this afternoon with a slight chance for storms. High of 97. Winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear again tonight. Slight chance for storms, 75. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms. Highs level off around 93. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. for all your landscaping and lawn care needs. Visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 92 degrees.
A proven leader and effective communicator who is ready to find solutions. My friend Rudy Ferguson is exactly who we need on the Tallahassee City Commission. Rudy is a practical thinker with real-world experience who's committed to moving Tallahassee forward responsibly. I'm Dana Brooks, and I'm with Rudy.
Thank you, Dana. I'm Rudy Ferguson, and I'm asking for your vote for Tallahassee City Commission Seat 1 on August 20th. Paid by Rudy Ferguson, nonpartisan Tallahassee City Commission Seat 1.
There is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Hey, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know that the 14-1 odds there with Tyler at Louisville is not bad either. But I think Preston Stone is where I'm going at 10-1 to lead the ACC in passing this year, passing yards.
Yeah, I tend to agree, again, because of necessity. Necessity breeds
mother of invention.
Well, it also breeds value. You know, or scarcity, I should say, breeds value. They're not going to get a whole lot of stops. Stops are going to be scarce.
Right, style of play matters greatly. They have the two kids, the Bailey kid and the Hudson kid at wide receiver that are very good. So they got.
Also, Rhett wants to flex. That's his nature.
That's what he does. He calls good plays. He's a good play caller. Is what he is. I didn't want to forget to do this. We haven't done it in a while. It's time they're bringing it back now. We're going to get after it again. And it makes me laugh because we get to see the otter floating about, right? Let's bring him up. It's going to do some tub talk time with our friends at Pinch a Penny. There you go. Are you going to play the bubbles?
It's time for Tub Talk, brought to you by Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. Buy yourself the hot tub you've always wanted at the price you've always wanted from Pinch a Penny on Greer Street. Now, it's live to the tub.
We're just resting. We're just like that otter, chilling in this here tub. Thanks to our friends at Pinch a Penny, by the way. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas have everything you need for pool maintenance, chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, all that. Let's get to the getting, though. If you got an old hot tub, tell them to come get it. Haul that joker away, give you some value for it towards a new hot tub. They'll pick it up, they'll remove it, they'll haul it away. They'll give you money for a trade-in, credit towards your new hot tub. That's even more savings. They make it easy. Go check them out, Greer Street. That's a massive, massive showroom there of spas. You can't go wrong. Go see them. Pinch a Penny. Good stuff. And in the tub, what are we talking about? We're talking about Ireland, man. We're talking about 50-something degrees, low 60s, a little bit of a pullover.
That's good tub weather is what it is.
That's great hot tub weather.
Let's see. I'm pulling it up now. Little weather window action. Oh, look. My default city that pulls up with my weather app is Dublin.
Nicely done. Yeah.
I can give you everything through next Friday. What day do you want?
Well,
pick a day next week.
Okay, Tuesday. I want to know Tuesday.
63 for a high, 52 for a low.
Doesn't suck.
Partly sunny. No Irish mist in the forecast.
Nicely done. What about Wednesday?
Wednesday, a little bit cloudier, a little bit warmer. 65 for a high.
Blazingly hot.
But it'll be cooler in the morning with a low of 49.
What about Thursday, Tom, over there?
Well, Thursday's a scorcher, Jeff. Now, we need to be very, very careful at the Leopardstown Racecourse. We're going to need to break out the SPF.
Well, can I just tell you, for the people that don't know, we're broadcasting live from Leopardstown.
Yeah.
I was at Leopardstown last year. It was amazing. And one of the things about it, it's a kind of do-all facility. I compared it to like the Battery in Atlanta, where you have places for concerts and parties and everything else, in addition to the track itself. The track, it's a work of art. They race their horses on beautiful green grass, not dirt.
That's correct.
It is stunning.
So they're looking to set us up near the parade ring, where they go before the race starts. That's where the live broadcast is going to be.
I've been in the parade ring. I got to pet a winning horse.
Oh,
after
wow.
the race in the parade ring.
So it is a complex over there. It looks like they're going to have some other things set up for fans, like inflatable football games, an opportunity to take a photo with the trophy for the game itself, and other fun activities that they'll have, or their live music as well. But yeah, that day when we broadcast from 6 to 8 Irish time, 1 to 3 Eastern at Leopardstown, scorcher, 69 degrees for a high.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
September 2nd is the answer to your question in the chat. I got to go back to the chat. I jumped out of the chat. I didn't see who asked the chat. Was it Justin? Justin asked. We'll be unveiling the third hour of the program, September the 2nd. It makes its return. We had wanted to go and get back from Ireland and get things underway.
We're playing BC that day. Okay.
Oh, that's a Monday.
Yeah. Labor Day. We're playing BC.
It's perfect.
Okay. So then
maybe it's the third. Maybe it's the third. Sorry. So maybe the day after that game.
I got you. Well, yeah, because we might have some pregame stuff
that week. Sorry,
gotcha.
The week of that week. Yes, that week is what I'm talking about. So yes, Justin, thanks for asking.
Say 5-hour pregame. My goodness.
No, Alex. It's not all of these things are live, pre-order, VIP only type things. Everything else is free. Not pre-order. You just come out to the old storehouse. We're going to be broadcasting live.
Correct.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. We have a Warchant meet and greet there afterwards. After the broadcast is over at 8:00 Irish time, you guys can come in, hang out, and we'll just talk Florida State and have a good time. Only the event on Saturday, the day of the game, is a pre-ticketed VIP event that where I'm interviewing Bjorn Warner, and we're gathering with other Noles that are going to this thing, and then making our way for the tailgate, and then making our way into the stadium following the Chiefs.
That is correct. That particular event on Saturday was a ticket plus tailgate package that you would have had to have purchased at SeminolesToIreland.com a long time ago. And I don't believe that they have anything left. So,
it's sold out because it's me.
Right. I tried to skirt around that so that you could continue to be as egoless. But
as I typically am.
Fair enough. But that's not something, there's no charge at the door. If that changes, we'll let you know. But everything else Tuesday through Friday, come on down. We'll tell you where we are, and we're looking forward to see you.
It's glorious. Going to be a good time. Time for probables. I can't believe I'm still doing this. Pirates have lost 9 straight games. They have bowed out of the race, to say the least. They have bowed out of the race. It is something to behold right about now. Cue it up, if you would, good sir.
Am I kicking people away?
You can. Let's kick them out.
Oh, man.
I love you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Redemption Thursday.